What's up, guys? It is 4/21, 2024. I just want to go over a market review for this week, market preview for this week. And just to preface what I'm going to go through or talk about with something that happened last Friday was that we saw a ton of selling, but we saw no real profit taking. And if we did see profit taking, it got shot right back down. So that also happened on Thursday, where we have this huge move down, and then they tried to take profit at the end of the day, and sellers came in, and sellers came in, and sellers came in, and sellers came in. Eventually, it went down, and then I said that it was either going to go down the following day or consolidate around this level, and it actually did a little bit of both. Consolidated for a quick second, and then took off back to the downside. So. I fully intend that, from this perspective alone, that we will have some profit taking at some point next week. And I think some of the other analysis kind of falls in line with that. So I'm going to move over to the continuous futures chart, a little cleaner. I don't have all my annotations on here. And I'm going to go to the daily. And so what I'm seeing here in the daily is like maybe one leg, something like that, two legs. Depending on how you're counting, maybe 1, 2, something like that. Maybe 1, 2, 3. I don't know how you're counting, but I guess the main point is that we're touching the band here. So I think that there's going to be some sort of mean reversion at some point next week, especially after seeing all these tails. That just shows a lot of profit taking. Not profit taking, a lot of either profit taking or bull stepping in. So basically a trend that's slowing. The other thing to note is that like a lot of bigger stocks like JPM are showing some climactic behaviors after that big dump, right? So, and this one's already reverting. So maybe this is like a leader. And, I mean, Disney was our leader a couple weeks ago when I mentioned a possible anti-pattern like up here. So just something to look at. I think most stocks at this point, most larger stocks, are showing this behavior. Like this is getting climactic here, and yeah. So just something to consider as we talk more about this. Like this is pretty climactic. All right, so then moving on to the advanced decline line, what we're seeing is, we talked about this last week. Sorry, this is take 3. Last time I didn't have my snapshot tool that, was giving you guys insight as I'm talking. So we talked about this in the previous week where we see like a support line. My line drawing sucks, but we broke here in this general area, and then possibly like a retest of that, and then we dip back down, and you can see prices following along with this nicely. And right now we have this little hook, which could either turn to an anti-pattern where we see a pullback in price, and then boom, a dip down. So that would be like a 1-to-1 target. Stop loss being up here, your entry maybe here. I don't know, but that's the idea. We talk about the anti in a couple other videos. So just want to bring that up. The other alternative is that, hey, we are going to pull back at the very least is what we could look at. So I think this is a beginning indicator saying the stocks, and we saw that in JPM and already, that it's already pulling back before the market as a whole pulls back. So maybe that is a leading indicator here, and we're going to get at least a pullback or a mean reversion at some point. And the Dow is looking the same. The New York Stock Exchange is looking the same, just a little more dramatic. The one that's really different, and we touched on this last week too, is the NASDAQ, which has this divergence that happened before the fall off. So where we are with the NASDAQ, I'm uncertain. We have this huge divergence, and then finally a fall off. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to move in. So I think this supports that mean reversion theory that we had, that next week we're going to see some sort of taking profit from the people that didn't take profit on middle to late last week, and people that are bullish are going to start buying in a little bit more. So let's move over to the sentiment survey. So this survey is just some of the larger retail traders in the market, and we saw last week that we had these two previous weeks where bullish participants became neutral, really, and even here they really just became neutral. Some few were bearish, and then this week they were surveyed, and a lot of these guys became bearish. A lot of them moved over to the bearish side. So I take this with a grain of salt too, because this has recency bias, even though they're being asked about the next 6 months. So I don't know if this really fits in the narrative of a pullback. We just need to keep in mind that there are pretty big participants that are still bearish from a recency perspective. And then I'm going to head over to the futures report, and I think this further solidifies the theory that we are going to pull back a bit. So the first thing I look at when I see this, okay, let me explain this really quick. So the 16th, these are taken every Tuesday. So this was data from Tuesday, and this is data from the Tuesday before that, right? And what we're seeing is that market participants, like larger guys, smaller funds and stuff, are taking off their shorts and becoming bullish. That was as of Tuesday last week. And then we saw the opposite is true for commercial investors, which maybe that is maybe that was the factor that pushed us down last week so fast, was that the big guys were saying, hey, let's catch these guys off guard and let's take some cash. So, and overall, I mean, commercial stays pretty even, but it's a pretty drastic change here to see taking off longs and putting on shorts, right? And then we see the smaller, like retail people that don't have to really report, adding just a small amount of shorts and a ton of longs. So there are people that are getting long, right? And those are your individual retail guys, those are your small funds, but like your big commercial banks and stuff are still very much short. So maybe those are the guys that we look for next week to change from bearish to bullish, and that might be the ultimate factor that pushes us higher, right? Because these guys are moving the market, but maybe it's going to take this encouragement, right? These taking off shorts and adding longs, taking off shorts and adding longs, and from both of these participants to kind of say, okay, well, we can't push them any further down. Let's start going with them and changing direction to either trap them or to make money with them and let the market go back to where it was before. So that's my report. I think next week overall we're gonna pull back, and I didn't talk about this. I'll talk about it really quick. That we maybe pull back like 50%. That's what I like to consider. So you could take 50% from the top leg as one, and then maybe the second leg. I don't know which leg you're measuring as a second. Maybe we do this one because it gives us a wider range. And we say, okay, let's look for price to get between these two green lines. So you're talking 51.26 and 51.50 maybe. But basically, let price revert in there. And that, I mean, that sort of makes sense too with some of the technicals that are going to line up. You've got these potentially going in this direction. So price will get in, these ranges where resistance becomes a factor, and maybe that lines up with, some other indicators and stuff, and we either pull back and head down, or we just push right through and go to the upside. But I think, some targets and levels to look out for next week is a retracement to at least the 51.26 level. And that is what I got for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed. Sorry it's a little longer. It's my third take. And have a great week, guys.